Well, here we are for the press conference, and exciting to get to this time of the year. I'm glad to be done talking about the circus surrounding this game and actually start talking about the game itself, which is what we're getting into today as we start to put the final touches of preparation on this week and getting ready for the opening game of the season. But this is always an exciting time. You go through camp and you work so hard to develop your depth chart, your offense, your defense, your kicking game, and it's exciting when you really start to get that competitive juices flowing, a little bit of the nervous energy flowing. You get into the opening game, you're always worried about how's your team going to respond. Is your offense ready? Is your defense ready? Special teams ready? How will this young man perform under pressure, under the lights, where you haven't had the opportunity to see him do that yet? You always worry going into the opening game about ball security, turnovers. You always worry about tackling, and you always worry about special teams, because those are things you can never get enough tackling in the open field live, and you can never get the opportunity to find out how you're protecting the ball unless you're scrimmaging, and you can't do that every single day to turn and find out if your team's ready. So this is an exciting time right now to get into the Notre Dame game. We know that we have a great challenge ahead of us. I think this is a Notre Dame team that has an awful lot of excitement surrounding around it, and also has an awful lot of expectations. When you look at the way that they finished last year, winning their last 4 games of the season, not only winning their last 4 games, but doing it in a convincing manner, winning, they beat 4 bowl teams and won by an average score of 27-10 in their last 4 games. They really started to put it together. They started to come together as a team, and I think they were playing really well. It starts on the offensive side of the ball. When you look at it, Michael Floyd is a great player. We all know that. He's the complete package. He's got size. He's got speed. He can go up and make pretty much every catch that needs to be made. He doesn't need to be open. You can cover him, and he's still going to make the play. He had 79 catches, over 1,000 yards a year ago. On the other side is Reddick, who only had 40 catches last year, but was slowed down with a foot injury. And I think having the 1-2 punch on both sides of the field, they present an awful lot of problems, and it makes it very difficult to turn and be able to take any one of their outside weapons away in their passing game. On top of that, they have a 1,000-yard all-purpose running back in Wood, who is a very talented player. Didn't start early, but as the year went on, really started to emerge as the guy. Great speed, athleticism, and I think the combination of those 3 gives them 3 superstar caliber players, really difference makers that are going to go have long careers in the NFL that you're lining up and trying to stop. I think their quarterbacks are very solid. I know Chris threw for over 2,000 yards in 8 games, and they're the ones that he's the one that they have deemed the starter, but they have other quarterbacks that have played. They have quarterbacks that haven't played that are very athletic, so we're kind of preparing for all of it right now. Going into the opening game, you really don't know everything you're going to see. Their offensive line returns 4 starters up front. They're very big, they're very physical. I think this is a very powerful offensive football team. As I said, scoring 27 points a game in the last 4 games of the year in just their first year, and I think they'll even be better in year 2 going into it, just as we feel more comfortable in our program going into year 2. I'm sure they feel much more comfortable in theirs as well. Looking on the defensive side of the ball, I think this is where Notre Dame has probably improved over the last couple of years as much as anything. I think this is the place that's really making a difference. They have 24 returning lettermen on that side of the ball. The last 3 games of the year, they only gave up 22 points. I think they only gave up 5 touchdowns in the last 5 games of the year. So when you look at the yearly statistics, they may not be gaudy. They were top 25, I believe, in scoring. But if you look at the last 3 or 4, they were a top 10 defense in the country. And as I said, they played 4 bowl teams the last 4 games of the year. Defensively, they are a very, very talented group. It starts in the middle with Manny Teo, who is a great player, rare combination of size, speed, 250-pound, 45-pound middle linebacker in the middle who had 133 tackles last year. A very talented player. They give you some scheme problems with what they do. Their outside linebackers are probably their Giddens and Forte and Hampton are drop guys and rush guys, so they can give you a lot of problems without putting different personnel packages onto the field. But I think Fleming and Shembo are very talented players on the perimeter. And then when you get into the back end, Harrison Smith has really been impressive. He's probably, when you look at the big picture, well, the last 2 games of the year, he had 4 interceptions. He intercepted the ball to seal the win at Southern Cal. out at the Coliseum, and then in the bowl game, I believe he had 3 interceptions against Miami in the first half. I think he is a difference maker. He's a smart player. He's got great savvy and ball skills, and he's a ball hawk there in the middle of the field. So I think defensively, they give you some problems as well. And then you look at them on special teams, all their kickers are very accurate, very strong-legged. And then I think what they're going to do to add a real bonus to their football team this year is that Theo Reddick is going to be returning punts and kickoffs for him, which is going to add another one of those superstars that's going to get the ball under his arm, and you're going to have to be really solid on special teams against them. There's an adage that says, be careful what you wish for. Sometimes you might get it. I know that we are excited about the challenges that we have and the opportunities we have right now to open with a team like Notre Dame. But when you put on that film and you see this is a very talented team, and it's going to be a great challenge for us as a young program going on the road to start the season up in South Bend. But it's an opportunity we're really looking forward to.